Hello everybody, it's Julia here from the Highly Sensitive Tarot, and I'm back today with the number 4s of the Minor Arcana. Thanks so much for being here. I hope that you're enjoying the series, and I'm getting through it now, aren't I? We're up to number 4. Done all the major arcana, the court cards, and we're now working our way through the minor arcana. I'm really enjoying this series. It's something that I've wanted to do for a long time. So yeah, I'm really pleased to be here. I'm a bit brainless today, but I'm here, and we're going to talk about the 4s. So it'll be the same sort of format as before. I'll show you some cards, and then I'll give you some questions that you can use to help you to develop a personal relationship for self-reflection with the tarot cards. So we'll start with the Wands. And actually I'll just tell you a little bit about the number 4 in numerology first. So 4s are ruled by the Emperor. 4s represent solid foundations and stability. The number 4 symbolises completion, equality, structure. It's the number of reality, logic and reason, as we would expect with the Emperor. So with the Wands, wands are a masculine suit, and the astrology that goes with the 4 of Wands is Venus in Aries. So in its higher realms, this card could represent, with its 4 garlands, with the 4 wands and the 4 garlands tied to them, it could imply the foundation of a house. So whatever you've been building, it could be established as strong and solid. You can enjoy your efforts, you can celebrate after your labour, your harvest, and enjoy the rewards of that. As we can see, the people here, it's like people are preparing for a party, isn't it? So this card could represent holidays, romance, a cooperative, a community of some kind, all working together for the common good. In this card particularly, it does very much have that feeling that there's a community here preparing for a marriage or a commitment of some kind. In its lower realms, this card can represent insecurity, anxiety, negative politics within a community, or the disruption of a community. In the Tarot of the Abyss, we've got that similar theme going on there, haven't we? Of like, this is somebody's birthday, I think, here, isn't it? And we've got the 4 wands with what looks like the 4 garlands tied to the top. So this is a time of partying, of holidays, a family. In this card, I would say a family probably coming together to celebrate somebody's birthday. And then in the Pensive Path Tarot, we can only see 2 people here, and I'm not entirely sure what's going on in this piece of artwork here, but to me, and I could have this completely wrong, because the lady that, her name, Reese, who created this deck of cards, she hasn't got to the minor arcana yet to give her reasons as to why she chose these cards. So I don't really know for sure why she chose this, but to me this card looks like a mother and daughter, and this is, the mother is the one with her hand in the air with what looks like possibly flowers, a little posy of flowers, and her daughter with her head looking down, looking more reserved or shy perhaps. And so this could be something to do with a proposal or a marriage or a birthday a coming of age, something like that, I feel. And this is a celebration within that community, I'm sure. So, so if we were going to ask some questions, if we were going to look at this card to use to self-reflect and look at our own life, we could ask questions such as, what are you bringing to completion? What role is ritual or ceremony playing in your life at this time? What rite of passage are you experiencing, and how are you celebrating it? So that's a lovely card, the Four of Wands, isn't it? I like that. So next we have the Four of Cups. The astrology of this card is the moon in Cancer. This is a feminine suit, the suit of cups, and this is the moon in Cancer. So this is a particularly feminine inspired card, really, isn't it? So this card could be described as the grass is greener card, really. This is somebody sat there feeling kind of sorry for themselves, wishing that something in their life was different, I think. This could represent a relationship that's stagnant in some way. But in its higher realms, this card represents looking at life in a fresh way, trying to find the positive possibilities in life, in new relationships and new approaches to old problems. It's like you need motivation because you've become bored and disconnected perhaps from your emotional state. So in its lower realms, this in general, really, this is kind of a warning card, I suppose, in some ways, that your boredom or your restlessness within your life or your relationship is causing harm. You know, daydreaming about other people, or overindulging in drink, food, drugs, sex, you know, all of the things that we use as crutches or our addictions or bad habits within our life. This card is a card of kind of being sat in that energy of overindulgence in your boredom and your restlessness. And it's really not the way to solve a problem, is it? So this card might encourage you to stop looking for ways to escape your problems and instead look for ways to change them. So, and we've got that very similar theme going on here in the Tarot of the Abyss. Is this person, they're just disinterested, really. It's like they're daydreaming, not interested in the reality of life around them, not interested in the very real cups that are still standing here, that could represent positive relationships or positive situations in their life. This person has sort of disengaged from those aspects of their life and have instead retreated into this sort of daydreaming, fantasizing escapism, I guess. And I absolutely love this card from the Pensive Path Tarot. She reminds me of Elle, of 11 from Stranger Things. When she's angry or upset, she looks very much like this. I don't really know what's going on in this card here, but she just looks so fed up, doesn't she? It's like nothing is going her way. It's like she could have fallen out with all her friends, and she's just sat there stewing on that and feeling sorry for herself and gradually becoming more and more upset and more angry. You know, it almost looks like in her hand she's holding some stones here or something that she could almost throw at somebody. She's feeling so so pissed off and so upset and so aggrieved by what's going on in her life. I think this is a little bit more than boredom, isn't it? When we look at the expression on her face, she's brewing up for some meanness there, I think, really. But I think this really does tell the story of relationships or friendships that have gone wrong. That this sort of need to escape is not serving you well, you know. So there we go. So if we were going to ask some questions relating to this card, we might ask questions such as, with what are you dissatisfied? What are you reevaluating in your life? Because that would be a more positive spin on this sort of retreat, wouldn't it, into your own head, would be, what are you reevaluating? What are you fantasizing about? And is there a way to realize this, if it's indeed a good thing or a positive thing for you and other people? And where do you go to find peace and security in your life? Do you go and sit under a tree and ponder your existence? You know, where do you go to find the peace and serenity that you need in your life? So there we go. So with the Four of Swords, which is the next card, swords are a male dominated suit, and the astrology with this card is Jupiter in Libra. So in its higher realms, this is a card of taking a break. This is taking a break to rest and meditate. There could have been struggles and stress in your life that you now need to recuperate. You need to release that tension and let go of old negative patterns, negative habits. It's like there's a healing retreat that is needed, a time of stillness and quiet. In its lower realms, this card can represent insecurity, loneliness, an inability to stop and rest, a refusal to face issues and pay attention to them. You know, have you isolated yourself for too long? You know, that could be the other extreme of this card, is that actually you've been in this state of stillness and retreat for too long. In the Tarot of the Abyss, we see what looks like a soldier here, really, who's put down their helmet, they've put down their swords, and they're stopping. They're having a break from the battle. They could be hiding behind the wall, but whatever. Maybe the battle is over. Perhaps that's what it is. Perhaps the battle is over and it's time to stop. Let's have a look in the book for this one. I absolutely love the little book that comes with the Tarot of the Abyss, actually. I think it's a really, really helpful little book. So, the Four Swords rest on a rock wall. There is no sign of the knights that possess them, nor the battleground that required their presence. It is a picture of tranquility and calm, so much so that the two small songbirds have decided to take refuge on the swords. We can't tell if the swords have been used in bloody battle or if they soon will be, but nevertheless, the message they carry is clear. It is time for a complete and utter rest from the battle. The Four of Swords is quite a good omen. The time has come for quiet preparation and retreat from the daily grind. It's a welcome and much needed respite that perhaps we've been putting off for a while. Often the best way to get relief from stress is to take time to listen to your body. Heed the small voice that is calling you to consolidate your energy. We're so used to being in motion, to keeping active, whether it's in a job or at home, that we tend to forget that we are not invincible. Shifting our focus, cares and woes from the external world to the needs and wants of our inner world is important sometimes if any healing is to take place. So there we go. That's what I was saying, isn't it? With this card, we don't know whether the battle has begun yet or whether it has ended, but there is clearly peace and quiet and solitude here within this card, so much so that the birds have felt comfortable to sit on the swords. And so this is obviously a very necessary time of peace and quiet. And I think in the Pensive Path Tarot we can really see that here. This is another clown from the Pensive Tarot and Pensive Path Tarot, and I don't like the clowns in this deck particularly, but I guess this is one of the less offensive ones for me. But this is a person here who's really listened to their body, haven't they? And they've realised that they're just exhausted and they're worn out and they need a rest. They need a kip, a sleep, a doze, a snooze. They need 40 winks. They need to recover some of their strength and their stamina. So if we were going to ask questions relating to this card to help us to self-reflect and learn and grow about ourselves, we could ask, what can you do to get a better perspective on the situation? Where do you need to focus your energies in order to rest and find your strength again? What should you avoid rushing or making impulsive decisions about? And when does retreat become avoidance? So there we go. Like I said, this is a very necessary state of mind and body for us sometimes, but not all the time. Okay, so the Four of Pentacles. So this suit is feminine. This is a female suit, and the astrology with this card is the Sun in Capricorn. So in its higher realms, this card might represent the ability to take care of your own domain, your own life, having clear boundaries. This could be a time of security and comfort. There's the ability here to empower yourself and others and to draw the resources that you need to you. I think in its lower realms, though, which is a very common way to read this card is generally described as sort of the miser card in many ways, of holding on to what you've got, being afraid to lose the things that you have, afraid to lose the comfort and security in your life. So this could be perceived as greed, the inability to share, being selfish, being afraid. This card reminds you to share your wealth and to be generous with your luck and fortune. A miser always lives in fear instead of making the best of what they've got, of sharing and being happy. We see that here in the Tarot of the Abyss. In this one, the pentacle that they've got their feet on their pentacles, they've got the third one here, but the fourth pentacle is so huge, the pentacle that they're holding on to. It's become all-encompassing, hasn't it? Let's read from the book about this. It'll be interesting to see what it says. That's the biggest pentacle I think I've seen in any of the tarot decks that I own. So let's see what it says. So this is about planning for the future and making sure you have the resources that you need. However, at the same time, if we place too much value on accumulating material things, ironically, we can become owned by the very things we seek to own. Rather than us owning and controlling them, our psyches are owned by the desire to accumulate and possess wealth. So the card illustrates a man coveting his coins. He holds on to them very tightly, terrified of losing them. The coins are far larger than any real coin may be, indicating the value and focus that he places on them. So I think that's what's important about this, isn't it? It's a perception. So he's lost sight of the fact that they are intended to serve him and not the other way round. So are you going through a financial hardship at the moment? If so, the Four of Pentacles is warning you to be conservative with your spending and focus instead on saving. However, if that's not the case, the Four of Pentacles can take us on a different meaning. Perhaps you are focusing too much on the money. Let go of the purse strings a little. It's okay to have fun here and there. After all, you can't control everything. So that's interesting. And then with the Pensive Path Tarot here, we've got that similar sort of energy. We've got no pentacles here, but this little monkey, he's got, it looks like he's got a jar of, I don't know, sweets, cookies, something that this monkey likes very much. And you can see on his little face there, he is not about to share what is in this jar. It looks like he could lash out and scratch you or bite you if you even attempted to take the jar from him. And obviously that's not going to serve him well in the long run, is it? You know, whoever owns the monkey might laugh and, you know, accept that he's going to hang on to the jar here once or twice, but another time somebody might decide to forcibly take the jar off him and leave him with none. So, you know, again, that's that moral, that sort of story of sharing, isn't it? Of not living in fear. You know, a miser always lives in fear instead of making the best of what they've got and sharing and being happy. But this is just, this is a simple monkey, isn't it? And like with all animals, they don't like to share. So, if we were going to ask questions that would help us to learn and self-reflect on the energy of the Four of Pentacles, it might be, what do you want to hold on to or possess and why? What makes you feel secure? Is your glass half empty or half full? Who or what do you need to protect? So there we go. Interesting questions, hey? So I hope that you've enjoyed the fours, and do leave me a comment. That would be wonderful. I'd love to hear your experience of your own decks, and perhaps even what your favourite Four of Pentacles is, or what the Four of Pentacles might mean to you. Give me a thumbs up. If you're enjoying my Learn Tarot series and you haven't subscribed already, it would be fantastic if you would. It would really help validate my work and grow my channel. But anyway, I do hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.